One of the great things I've found since starting this channel is that I get loads of recommendations for series that are a bit more obscure. As a result, I often end up reading series that I never would have come across on my own, and thus uncover some hidden gems. So, for all the people who give me recommendations and review requests, thank you! Today I'll be reviewing one of those series that I definitely never would have found without you. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present Change 123. Change 123 presents a fresh take on the harem genre's oldest problem: how to have a happy ending for all the heroines. In it, our protagonist, Kosagawa, ends up romantically involved with a girl who has split personalities. 5 to be precise. Thus, he gets a full harem in one girl. No jealousy or drama necessary. Our heroine, who I'll call Motoko, although technically each personality has its own name, ended up with split personalities after her mother died. Her 3 fathers, yes, 3, just go with it, decided that the best way to help out a grieving little girl was to give her brutal, harsh fighting training. Each of her fathers is pretty much a demigod in their respective areas of expertise, and she gets training in karate, jujitsu, and swords and guns. In order to cope with this harsh training, Motoko develops a personality for each fighting style, along with a base one for daily life. Anyways, the majority of the story revolves around Motoko dealing with her split personalities and her relationship with Kosagawa. There's plenty of fights, but no real ultimate evil that the heroes must overcome to save the day. That's not the type of story this is. Ultimately, it ends up being more about the characters overcoming their own problems rather than overcoming other people. So, I'll only be talking about 2 physical people here, but at the same time 6 characters, because of all the lovely split personalities. Let's start with our protagonist, Kosagawa. He's your fairly standard weak but kind nice guy, other than his obsession with Kamen Rider. He's smart enough to realize that he doesn't have the ability to protect Motoko from any physical danger, so he doesn't often try. Quite an intelligent approach when compared to some characters I can think of. Anyways, he acts as much more of an emotional support. Now, as for the various entities within Motoko, we have Mikiri, the judo master, who's exuberant and has no shame. Hibiki, the karate master, who has a straightforward, happy-go-lucky personality. Fujiku, the arms master, who's cool, calm, and collected. Motoko herself, the one who does all the schoolwork and chores, who's kind but a bit of a ditz. And Zero, a psychotic killing machine. As you can probably guess, the last personality causes just a few problems. Also, interestingly, the other 3 fighting personalities can talk to each other and have a real sense of camaraderie between them. Kind of odd to see a friendship between split personalities within a single individual, but somehow this story manages to make it work. So I'd recommend to read Change 123 because of all of the wonderful art. So much wonderful art. So very pleasing to the eyes. No, more seriously though, this series is actually quite good. If I had to describe Change 123, I'd say it has all the things I like about a harem series without the overwhelming feeling of frustration that comes with them. Number 1. I don't feel like yelling at the protagonist to just go pick a girl already, since he's already picked the wonderful all-in-one deal. Number 2. Although the main character is a bit of a dork, I can actually understand why Motoko's personalities like him, unlike every other harem protag. And finally, number 3, the story has a nice conclusive ending instead of a god-awful harem one, where nothing is resolved and I feel like throwing my keyboard out the window. Both the comedy and the romance are done very well here. Kosagawa develops his relationship with the different personalities at different rates, and given that they all occupy the same body, this can occasionally make things just a bit awkward, and very amusing. When you have one personality who's too scared to even hold hands with the protagonist, and another who has no problem appearing perfectly naked in front of him, some interesting situations are bound to arise. Now, back on the note of the whole ecchi thing, to be honest, I enjoyed that aspect of this series too. It never got in the way of the storytelling and never occurred as a result of her protagonist being clumsy/stupid. Rather, it was more just a result of some of the heroine's personalities. I've heard enough baka hentais to last a lifetime, so this was kind of refreshing. I know to some it's taboo to admit that fan service can ever be good, but I have no qualms admitting that stuff like this is actually pretty nice if it's not overused. Chains 1, 2, 3 doesn't have much of an overarching plot. Actually, even individual story arcs are pretty simple. There's only really 3 types. Motoko and Kosegawa go on a date, Motoko goes up against some baddies who are stupid enough to pick a fight with her, and Motoko and Kosegawa have humorous times at high school with their classmates. It's not that the plot is bad per se, it's just fairly simple. Don't expect any surprise plot twists. Also, maybe it's just me, but I found all the Kamen Rider references in this series slightly annoying. In all likelihood, it's just because I've never seen Kamen Rider myself. Maybe if I was into live-action Japanese TV shows from the 70s, I'd get more out of it. Then again, maybe not. The quotes tend to be pretty preachy. Chains 1, 2, 3 is a series I wouldn't have tried if my subs hadn't recommended it. And now that I have read it, I am happy to pass this recommendation on to all of you. It's pretty darn good. That being said, if you can't stand any type of fan service or need stories that you read to be deep, maybe give a pass on it. Everyone else, you should check it out. If you're looking for a similar series to read, History's Greatest Disciple Kenshi is the first thing that comes to mind. It has a martial arts master heroine with a dead mom, and a similar amount of comedy and ecchi. Sadly though, it's also nowhere near as good as Chains 1, 2, 3. If anyone has a better suggestion of a similar series, please put them down in the comment section below. Anyways, thank you for listening. That concludes my review. Cheers!